The adventures of the new Green Lantern continued this week with the release of Absolute Green Lantern number 6. If you haven't been keeping up with this radical, horror-tinged reinterpretation of the Emerald Knights, then I'll quickly fill you in. The principal stars of this series are Joe Mullen, Hal Jordan and John Stewart, 3 friends that live in the sleepy town of Evergreen, Nevada. Not much happens here, and while Hal and John seem to like it, Joe has returned from the big city after a bitter separation from her wife. This was the kind of place where nothing ever really happens, at least until it was visited by an alien calling itself Abin Sur. This wasn't what you might call a typical alien encounter, however, as he encased the town in a green energy field and started incinerating the residents one by one. Hal, Joe and John managed to figure out that yellow objects could pierce the energy field, and gold had a particularly explosive effect. But before they could get out, Abin Sur turned up and passed judgment on John, seemingly killing him. In response, Hal painted the bullets of a gun yellow, and Joe confronted Abin Sur to see why he was murdering all of their neighbours and friends. It transpired that Abin Sur wasn't killing them though. He was performing a cosmic personality test of sorts, assigning people to different roles. The language barrier made it hard to understand, but essentially everybody was fine. When Joe reached out to touch Abin Sur, the gold of her wedding ring caused a strange reaction, draining Abin Sur's power and bringing his Green Lantern vessel crashing down on top of Evergreen. Blaming Abin Sur and misunderstanding the situation, Hal shot him dead and in the process damned himself to the curse of the Black Hand. Dazed and confused, Hal wandered away from the wreckage and stopped at a diner, where his new appendage slaughtered one of the diners. It was here that Joe emerged, glowing green with alien energy. While she tried to calm Hal and figure out what had happened, the Black Hand corrupted Hal's mind, making him jealous and bitter. The two fought. As their massive battle brought them closer to Evergreen, Abin Sur's vessel came back to life, and out came John Stewart, glowing with golden energy. And that's where the last issue ended, with a lot of questions. This issue doesn't immediately answer them though. Instead, it introduces a new character, Agent Cameron Chase. She's a fairly obscure character in the mainline universe, a special agent for the Department of Extra-Normal Operations, a special government agency responsible for dealing with metahuman and extraterrestrial threats, a bit like the Men in Black. Chase first appeared back in Batman 550 in 1998, where she teamed up with Batman to try and stop a rampaging new version of Clayface, which was the launchpad for her own short-lived series. She was also a metahuman, essentially with the ability to detect other metahumans and dampen their powers. Here, she's a disgruntled agent, frustrated by the fact that her boss refuses to let her investigate the Evergreen case. She implies that Hector Hammond had paid her boss off to keep the DEO away, and as such, she gets put on administrative leave. The truth hurts, I guess. She expresses her frustration to her partner Simon Baz, who still wears a mask despite being an agent of the law, topical. And he encourages her to seek opportunities within different branches of the agency, like the one on the East Coast, although she dismisses this idea, saying that the prospect of chasing Batman doesn't sound that interesting to her, which is an amusing nod to her mainline counterpart. So, all that's left for her to do is sit at home and seethe. But what of Hal, Joe and John? While the previous issues of the series followed a very clear structure of jumping between flashbacks and the present day, this issue is entirely set in the present. There is an awful lot of exposition showing how these lanterns differ to the mainline universe versions. The most important difference is that their power does not come from the emotional spectrum. It's more treated like the stages of enlightenment. John describes how there are 4 levels of light. Quad, the black flame, representing chaotic action. Rao, the red flame, representing restraint from action. Sur, the green flame, representing correct action. And Or, the gold flame, representing total understanding. It's important to note that one flame isn't necessarily better than the other. They all serve their purpose. While the Owens may aspire to wield gold flame, the Weaponers, or Black Stars, feel that the black flame is superior. All of this is explained by Guy Gardner, who now wields the red flame, because of the restraint he showed when Abin Sur arrived in Evergreen. And we're shown dozens of the people of Evergreen just floating around inside of the Green Lantern, waiting to be assigned a flame. John tells the group that Evergreen was meant to be a testing ground for the Owens. They wanted to try their cosmic personality tests on a small scale before moving on to doing it on a planetary scale. But why would that be necessary? I don't hear anyone ask. Well, the answer is because of the world to come. I had previously speculated that this was a statement about an ominous future, and I suppose that was kind of correct, but they were actually being more literal. The world to come is a literal planet, the home of the Black Stars. Mogo, the living planet. In the mainline universe, Mogo is a Green Lantern with foliage arranged in the form of the Green Lantern symbol. But here, it has a gaping crater shaped like a star. Mogo is the dark voice that Hal had been hearing in his head. It is coming. It has bad intentions, and the Lanterns need to band together to stop it. This also goes some way towards explaining why Abin Sur had such a strong reaction to Joe just taking the green flame, even though it was unintentional. There is a process to becoming enlightened. It takes thorough soul-searching before you can become adept. John, for instance, is an Ain, or initiate. But Joe just strolled in and jumped to the front of the queue. That is not supposed to happen. John doesn't seem to be too concerned about that though. What they are concerned about is Hal's Black Hand. Based on John's description of how the flames are assigned, it seems like the appropriate designation. He had violently murdered Abin Sur because he misunderstood the situation, a chaotic act if ever there was one. But Joe and John take a more compassionate approach. Joe uses the green flame to purge the Black Hand from Hal, which again is very similar to the arc of the mainline Hal Jordan. First he was possessed by Parallax, then he became the Spectre, and then he was resurrected, undoing all of his villainous acts. With Hal freed of his curse, Joe picks him up and takes him away, as the black goop sprays out of the Green Lantern into the waiting arms of Hector Hammond and his team of scientists. She can't take him to their home. Evergreen has been destroyed, for the most part, so she heads to the only other home she knows, her ex-wife's home, in Coast City. And wouldn't you know it, her hitherto unseen ex-wife is Agent Cameron Chase. Well, she did say she wanted to be involved in the Evergreen case. I guess she should have been careful what she wished for. In summary, an awful lot happens in this issue. We're given a lot of answers and more questions arise. I think it was a pretty smart decision to avoid regurgitating the origins of the Green Lanterns in the mainline universe, because otherwise, what would be the point? It's important to remember that the emotional spectrum of light is a relatively recent addition to the Green Lantern lore. If 2005 is recent to you, that is, in my head it was no more than 10 years ago, and that's how I know I am an old man now. Introducing new versions of established characters like Cameron Chase, Simon Baz, Mogo and Guy Gardner is exactly the kind of things these books should be doing. And now that the first story is complete, I look forward to seeing where things go from here. Absolute Green Lantern 6 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I have 3 Batman #1 blind bags coming in the mail. What is wrong with me? You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? Given that the issue opens with Chase's dream showing the world to come, I think it's safe to assume that she also has powers in this universe. I mean, unless everyone on Earth has started dreaming about the sinister future that awaits us. I also liked all the references to the other books in this line. Hector Hammond's relief that he had beaten Ra's al Ghul to Evergreen, his meeting with Veronica Cale to discuss the Green Lantern, and of course Chase's disinterest in Batman and Gotham City. Oh, how little she knows. And I found it very interesting how Abin Sur's name isn't actually a name but a title. It basically means Green Flame Adept. Does that make Guy Gardner Abin Rao? Yeah, maybe one day. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time. Next week there only seems to be one Absolute book coming out, so I am going to release a video looking at the brand new Batman series written by Matt Fraction. This is the 4th time that there has been a new Batman #1, and it promises to be a big departure from what has come before. And after that it'll be time to go back to the depths of Arc M in Absolute Batman 12. Wayland and Batman are on the run from Bane, but Bane has his hands on their friends Harvey Dent, Oswald Cobblepot and Edward Nygma. What awful things are gonna happen? We'll find out together. Hope to see you then.